with you separately so we can answer some of your questions one-on-one if you'd like to.
Well, no, what I'm doing needs to be documented. There's people that want these things done. So I'm just telling you that this stuff needs to be documented. That's all I can tell you right now.
Certainly.
So I just would like to have the opportunity to ask these questions. And I'm going to do it. And you know, and you know, if you've got something going and you're afraid of questions and people get mad when you ask questions, to me that sets up a red flag. And there may not be any need for a red flag. You should not ever get offended for people asking questions.
You're looking
because well, you just happen to be in front of me.
Okay.
And because if you get a question, you should be able to answer the thing. You
I don't
know.
think anybody has denied you answering questions.
No, you haven't.
I don't mind you answering either.
I know you don't.
Question.
I know you don't. Okay.
My only question the other day at the workshop was, you know, as they leave, are we going to let them take their last inventory out of there before they pay for all the raw material that's
I'm happy to answer that one. No, absolutely not. Now there's raw materials and there's finished product, right?
right?
So at the incubator or in the fill line side of it, the fill line has to manage the inventory, the raw materials. We've had a lot of debate and discussion over that side of it. For an FDA standpoint, quality control standpoint, I'm pretty confident that the incubator or innovation place should manage all of the raw materials. When it's converted over to a finished good, that's a completely different story. The customer, whether it is a contract manufacturing customer or a tenant of the incubator, buys that finished good. And that is based on, you know, the lip balm is obviously going to cost a lot less than the bottle of shampoo will. So the cost will be determined on the manufacturing process, how difficult, how complicated the fill is, what the cost of raw materials are. But that is always covered. That must be.
But the finished product will not be able to leave until all of that is paid.
They purchased it, absolutely.
How many paid employees do we have out there right now? One or two?
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear you.
How many paid employees do we have right now?
Can you answer that one?
We have Jim Stein. He's one full-time employee that is employed by the EDC, and he is the facilities manager. We also have on a contract base, Kristen Giuliani, and she is on a consulting basis and is being paid. She will roll into the interim incubator manager position as we formalize these processes.
As soon as manufacturing commences, there will need to be more employees in there to actually make and bottle and cap and things of that nature.
Is she full-time now or just part-time?
She's pretty full-time. she's doing a lot of work.
You say she's a consultant?
Yes.
Who does she work for? What's the consulting firm?
She's an individual.
Does she have a business name? I mean, is she a so-and-so consulting firm, and how long has she been in business as a consultant?
I do have their resumes, if you would like. I didn't think it was necessary to read verbatim every person's resume, but I do have them on hand if you would like it.
I mean, this is part of the questions I got, you know, and her qualifications and any awards that she's got as a consultant and stuff like that. I mean, I think, to me, that's important things to know.
Donald, we started with her as a contract employee. She's been performing certain services, pulling the incubator together. We're going to place her in an interim management position.
Yeah, I saw that.
And develop an RFP for a permanent position. And we will advertise for that position for whatever period of time the board specifies. And it's just the only way we can determine to really start this. We had to have a starting.
Well, to me, the best way to do these employees, especially the management ones, are through an RFP or career source and put it out there.
We're going to do
And
that.
then, and then you interview them.
We're going to do that.
And then, to me, you have the authority to hire them. but you need to have 2 or 3 that you look at, instead of just one person. And you choose the one you feel meets the criteria.
We will do that.
But if we're not gonna vote on it today, then I'll wait until the, whatever this Continuum Labs thing is, or whatever's coming up. It's like it's a workshop, I guess, or a special meeting or something. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Any other questions or comments on the incubator presentation? SOPs, I'm not really, did everybody receive a copy of that cover page? Oh,
It's
cover
not,
page?
not the whole
Christie?
SOPs.
We had some discussion and they said, let's print up the SOPs and give them to each of you. And you're talking about a whole lot of procedures on sanitizing tanks, wearing hairnets when you walk into the facility, pest control operations. And if you haven't had an opportunity to come down and tour the facility, you should. I'd be delighted to be there when you do so that I can show them to you. So the various SOPs, which are standard operating procedures, are basically instructions on how to run various pieces of equipment, how to clean them, how to operate them, how to train people to do things of that nature, how to make sure the facility is clean and sanitary, receiving of raw materials, how to make sure they're not contaminated, and they meet with various specifications. It's a big old stack of a whole lot of boring stuff. If you really want to read them, more than happy to give them out. This document here, which I believe was emailed to you, I'll pass it around if you'd like to see it. Basically, it's already up there, excellent. This is what, when the FDA walks in the door and they want to inspect, this is what you provide them. This is a summary of all of the procedures that occur within the facility and the guidelines that we operate to. They might look at this and say, let's see, if you switch over to page 2, there's something on there that'll talk about internal audit. The FDA may say, I would like to see your document on internal audit. Or on the following page, there's one on buildings and facilities. It'll say adequate filth and pest control. We're guaranteeing that we are going to operate our facility to minimize or to not have adequate filth, and that we will have adequate pest control. And they may say, let me see your pest control procedure. They're not going to inspect the whole thing, but they'll go through this and they'll say, okay, you're saying that you're going to do internal audits, you're saying that you're going to do proper pest control, let me see that procedure. And they'll inspect various parts of it. This is basically the gist of the entire standard operating procedures. So if you'd like to go through this, I'm happy to. If you would like to review individual procedures, we can supply those to you. Or you can come down and I can show them to you at the facility.
Yeah, I'd like to have a copy of those. That's okay.
We can do that. I would, however, say that I would like for them not to be placed on the internet, because this is a
Well, if you're
lot
not
of...
ready for them to be released, then that's fine. I don't want.
It's not a matter of not being ready to be released. It's every single one of the standard operating procedures says on top of it, confidential document.
Okay,
I know that the word
I
confidential is
accept
kind
that.
of funky. Thank
I
you.
accept that.
I appreciate that. Again, if you come down to the facility, you'll see them posted all over the place.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
And there are literally like 200 or plus. So,
I was in the military, I know what SOPs are.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, they're not, it's not, if you need a cure for insomnia, you're welcome to read them.
Right.
We also have included a First Amendment to the grant award agreement. It has been provided for clarification of the relationship between the EDA and the IDA. We will not go through that today. I'd like you to take time to read it before we have our workshop, and it needs some additional wordsmith on it. And we will have something ready for the IDA to approve and then to submit to the EDA. It basically just formally creates the framework for what we intend to do with the relationship between the EDA and the IDA as it relates to incubation place.
Well, I got some questions about that too, okay. I can wait.
Any other questions or comments from the board about the presentation? If not, we will go ahead and move into Commerce Park expansion. Test, test. Ladies.
Commerce Park expansion remains on hold until the challenge of the rezone with the BOCC is resolved in the courts. I have been back in communication with Delcom. They are still contemplating whether or not they would like to use some of the space in the incubator, and I'll keep that on the agenda until they make a decision to formally try to accept some of the space or to reject it. Floor-can, the building is going up. We expect to have the slab poured by Thanksgiving and the superstructure and a lot of the skin on the building by Christmas. Certainly by January, the building should be up, and the balance of the retrofit will be going on inside the building.
I got some questions about floor can. Is now the time, or?
Sure.
Okay, this may take a minute. Oh, first thing I want to say is that when I first heard about floor can, I was very excited, and I still am. To me, they are a very viable company that is going to be good for Hardee County. When they first was talking about coming here, they were talking about going out west of town on the Davis property. And now it's in the Commerce Park, which I'm not sure is the best place, but the commissioners decided that it was. So, and that's fine. But what I want to do, I want to read some of these quotes and things from the Herald Tribune about the fire. Then I'm going to ask the chair some questions. Because I think that well, let me get to some of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read some little ins and outs. I'm really surprised this wasn't in our local paper. It said they had to close 2 roads and evacuate the industrial park. 3 firefighters were taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital. The plastic and dust in the wing caught fire, causing a chemical plume. They brought 5 fire engines. The fire was complicated by the hazardous chemicals on site. It was a hazmat incident, fire chief said. Firefighters had to battle the blaze while at the same time controlling the runoff from the factory so chemicals will not seriously contaminate nearby ponds. And the heavy machinery was called in to dam the drainage ditches from the plant. I mean, it's going, you know, when they had their, if I recall, when they had their meeting out at the Civic Center about this, it was said out there, if I remember, and I may be wrong, that there was not any hazardous materials going to be as part of this plant. But according to this article now, is all I'm going by. It says that there was. And I think the commissioners voted on this with the idea that there was no hazardous materials. I think they said that there was not any. From where they had looked into it, some of them even made trips over there to the plant to see it. And so I guess what my concern right now is, I mean, I think it's going forward. It's going to be a good asset to our community, that plant is. And I guess what I want to ask the chair, I'm sure she's followed up on this after this fire and everything. Does Hardee County have enough fire engines to respond to this?
I'm not sure why you're directing that question to me. I don't run.
Well, I figured that you being the chair, that once you saw about this fire, you would have looked into some of this stuff. If you're not, then that's okay.
I mean, it's up to the county to answer those questions.
Okay.
We have a county commissioner here. If you'd
Okay.
like him to address that, I mean, that's.
Yeah, well, that'd be good.
I'd like to remind everyone that what you're listening to is a newspaper article.
Yes, I said that.
In all due respect to our local newspaper, they don't always get it right. I was just thinking that it might be a good idea to probably get the fire chief to request a copy from his counterparts over there of the incident report, just so we can find out exactly what the truth was. I do know, well, based on what I read in another article, that the fire started from someone doing some maintenance work on a forklift. And
I don't know if that was in here or not.
That was in a newspaper article.
Yeah.
Again, so I certainly think it's appropriate to get a little more information, but at this point, what I've seen is not concerning. And excuse me, whether you're talking about a fire at a facility like this or a fire at a convenience store, I would imagine that the gory details of what all it took to control the fire are probably pretty similar. But I think we can look into it.
Yeah, well, that was something that I was thinking. I didn't have it as a question, that maybe we could get our fire chief in here and tell us that, you know, that what this article says is really not fact. And my other question was, you know, does the schools have an evacuation plan, being that close to the school? And I guess we could get somebody from the school board in here to talk about that.
Do you believe it shouldn't be there?
No, I don't know, Bill. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I didn't get up and protest against it when the stuff was going on, because I believed that, and I don't know this. God's trying to What I do know is I want Floracan in this county. I do know that. Now, I was going on the premises, and the reason I kept my mouth pretty well shut during this thing was, or when it was going on, was they said there was not going to be any hazardous material. Now, I think it's a great spot down there for it, so I don't know, Bill.
Donald, when the plastic bags in a facility like that catch on fire, it's going to be reported as hazardous material.
Well, that's
And
what we need to find out.
that can't be avoided. If Walmart caught on fire, there would be hazardous materials that would be reported as part of that fire. And there's no way to avoid that. And if we're going to preclude every type of business that comes here, there's inherent risks in everything that we do. They're there. And at some point, we have to look at the balance of providing jobs and hopefully creating some reasonableness as it relates to public safety. And had Floracan waited on the availability of the Larry Davis property, they would have never come to Hardy County. They'd had to find another site.
Well, I don't deny
The
that.
timing of that would have never worked out. And we think we've placed them in a good spot in the Commerce Park. The floor in this building has been designed to contain what would be anticipated in a fire. I think it is designed to hold roughly 50,000 gallons of water on the floor. And we have to trust those people that are looking at it. They hired a company from Virginia to design all of the fire control processes. And I don't know what else to do. At some point, you yield to authorities and hope that you put all the right planning in place.
Do you know if their buildings over there had the sprinkler systems in it or not?
I don't.
It may not have.
I don't.
Madam Chair, if I may, and this is totally 100% my opinion, but it's based on everything that I've read and all the information that's been presented to me from start to finish with Floracan. And I got two kids, and I know I've said that before, but I've got two kids that attend the junior high, and I'm very comfortable with the location of this building in conjunction with the junior high. And like I said, that's entirely my opinion, but it's a comfort level that I've arrived at. I mean, there's nothing in the world without risk. You can't cross the street without risk. But I think it's minimal, and that's just my opinion.
Well, I brought this up because I just want to make sure that we as a county is prepared
It's reasonable.
to fight this thing or get the kids out of that school or something that need to be. And if a lot of this article is really kind of slanted, then we need to know that and find out that no, this is really, there wasn't any hazardous materials there and all this kind of stuff. Because I know they like to centralize things, right, Michael? I'm not talking about the Herald Advocate, Michael. I'm talking about the Sarasota Herald Tribune.
I'd like to make a comment along these lines. Some of these fertilizer plants have sludge as a filler, and some people like fertilizer because it's slow release.
Okay, I'll move on. I've been being asked a lot of questions. You want to go ahead, Sue?
Madam Chair, yes. I live within a quarter of a mile, and I have 2 children at Hilltop. I'm not concerned about that. I've checked everything. If I were concerned about that, I would certainly say so. But just want to say I live within a quarter of a mile.
Thank you.
I've been asked a lot of questions lately about, on the floor can process of building it, how is the bid process going to be held, is going to be done? Or is, now, the building itself, the structure, I guess, will be bought by the IDA, won't it? I mean, that will go out for bid or not go out for bid?
The project is under project management by Halfaker.
Yes.
The site development was bid, oh gosh, a month ago, 6 weeks ago.
It's done pretty well.
Cobb Construction was awarded the site development bid. It was $620 some odd thousand. The building, we got quotes from several companies, and Varco Pruden got the bid on the building. Varco Pruden is a well-recognized provider of building structures. I don't think they have bid, Sarah, can you help me? Have they bid the construction of the building per se?
Not yet. We haven't bid out the construction of the actual metal structure. That will be bid out though. Some of these items we're also going to be doing direct purchase. So those items will not go through our project management contract with Halfaker, since we are tax exempt. Some of the larger items, actual physical structures that need to be purchased, we'll do that on a direct purchase basis and take advantage of that tax break. So for instance, the metal structure of the building, we are purchasing that by direct purchase.
We got a bid.
Still goes to
direct
bid,
purchase.
yes.
Okay, the actual metal building itself, it went out for bids, right?
Yeah, it was $512,000, I think, is what the superstructure and the skin for the building.
And then you
Right.
will bid for somebody to erect.
To erect it.
Okay,
Correct.
but, okay, my question is though, on all these bids, are they sealed bids on a letterhead and they're opened at a certain date in front of people?
Yes. All of the bids go out for bid. There is a bid advertisement that goes out, and then we request sealed bids. Those sealed bids come into our office or to Halfaker's office. They're all compiled on the bid due date and are brought to the EDC office, and then they're opened in the public at a time certain, whatever was placed on the bid.
Okay, and is that date and time announced?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Would it be on what, the website? Or where would it be announced?
It's on the bid application that goes out for bid.
I mean, but how would the general public know on what date you're gonna open the bids for the plumbing or the wiring or whatever?
Well, to date, we haven't placed any of that on the web per se.
Or put it in the paper or anything?
Is it in the paper?
Is it?
Oh, okay, perfect. So it is on there.
Okay, so it's it's advertised that on this certain date, we'll open the bids for the plumbing, we'll open the bids for the wire, we'll open the bid, okay.
And there's
Okay.
generally several of the contractors show up. It's
Yeah, they do.
rare that we open one that there's not 2 or 3 of them there.
Mhm. I've never had anybody from the general public come in, but we always have at least 3 or more of the subcontractors that come for the openings.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure that the general public had an opportunity to know when it was gonna be, and they could go if they want to. That's up to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
When we purchase something direct, does Halfaker still get?
No, they do not. That's the point. We take that out of the contract. They'll do a change order to deduct that, and change order it up, back to us. And then we'll direct purchase it and not pay the taxes. But yes, it comes out of their GMP that they have given us originally. Their 5%, 7% that they tack on is taken out and deducted.
Any other questions or discussion on FloorCan? Any final comments on FloorCan?
In any event, the building continues to rise, and we will continue to be excited about it. Continuum Labs.
We have some very exciting news that we've received from Continuum Labs, and we'd like to take this opportunity to share it with the board and with the public. I think Sarah has some copies to share as well. So I'd like to read this press release that I understand they've allowed us the opportunity to kind of have this as breaking news in Hardee County before the rest of the world hears about it. CareSync announces $4.25 million investment. Wauchula, Florida, October 14, 2014. CareSync, a care coordination platform provider, announced today that it has completed its first external round of venture capital funding for $4.25 million. This funding provides for 20 new positions in Hardee County needed to fulfill several significant contracts with enterprise clients, including nationally recognized Moffitt Cancer Center and Medishare, a Christian-based health plan with over 87,000 members, and the continued growth of operations and commercialization of CareSync. These new positions are being actively recruited with a goal for all 20 positions to be filled by the end of the year. Created in partnership with Hardee County's economic development efforts, CareSync continues to have a significant impact on healthcare, garnering industry attention and accolades that include being a finalist in the SXSW 2014 Interactive Awards, voted favorite startup at HIMSS 2014, and being selected as one of the innovative startups in last month's TEDMed Hive, further validating CareSync's value in the marketplace and the IDA's foresight on the project. The agreed upon valuation of the company is well in excess of the Hardee County IDA's total investment. From the outset, we believed this product would have a tremendous impact in the healthcare community, said CareSync CEO Travis Bond. This innovation in healthcare is made possible by our partnership with Hardee County and those who are committed to seeing the partnership be a success. We are incredibly excited to watch CareSync continue to grow and are encouraged to see this kind of validation for the company and partnership. CareSync currently has users in all 50 states. New customers can sign up online at www.caresync.com or by downloading the CareSync app via the iTunes App Store or Google Play. And then the press release goes on to share a little bit about CareSync, which I think everyone here is fairly familiar with. And then in addition, we've been provided in writing an update to kind of give us an outline and a timeline of some of the significant accomplishments since we have not had a monthly update in the last few months. Unfortunately, they were not able to be here this morning, but they wanted to definitely share this important, exciting news with us first and allow us the opportunity to kind of share in their celebration and their excitement.
Again, we anticipate having the results of the examination presented to the board at a special meeting between now and the next meeting in November. I hope we can call that meeting within the next 2 weeks. And pending the outcome of the examination, I probably will ask the board to extend their contract until the end of the year, just as an administrative function of the board. And don't have anything else to say at that time. But this is certainly really good news.
Any comments from board members?
I know they're going to announce it, but this could also go on our website, so
Certainly, yes. They've actually held off their announcement from last week to give us the opportunity to be the first to kind of share this news and to be able to share it in Hardy County, which I appreciate since, we made the initial investment in getting them up and going. So it's very exciting to see one of our projects and one of our companies get this kind of validation.
The jobs are real, and if any of you can think of some folks that would be good candidates for these jobs, please refer them to the workforce folks or to CareSync folks so we can get them interviews.
Any other comments? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to Fort Greene LNG.
I still remain very optimistic about Fort Greene LNG. They are, we meet just about on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week. They have, I'm chomping at the bit for them to be able to come forth in a public forum and talk about their project. It's a very large project, and it just takes a lot of time to get it to the point of a press release announcement. But it continues to be developed in a very positive manner. PF Man likewise continues to be developed. Donald, I will tell you that they have reconciled the deposit with Peace River Electric and have paid their amount. We have not received our refund check from Peace River Electric, but once we do, I'll give you a copy of it.
Man, that's a question I don't have to ask.
You won't have to ask that.
But I will ask you another one.
Okay.
And this doesn't pertain just to PF Man. On these, where we've got these buildings where they don't pay any lease or rent, and we pay the taxes on the every year. My question is, do we also pay their tangible taxes?
No.
Okay, they pay those?
Yes.
Okay.
The Auditor General operational audit continues to move forward. They have been going through their review process, and we have been answering their questions. I have no idea how much longer that process will take. At some point, we will get a set of findings from them, and we will present them to the board when that happens. Sarah, do you have any comments about any of that? The financial audit also is going on. It really is not due until June 30th of next year, but hopefully it will be completed in a timely manner right after the first of the year. And as I stated earlier, the examination hopefully will be presented to you in the next 2 weeks. The water sewer extension on US 17 South and REA Road, we have just agreed to, the city of Wauchula needed to have an additional area surveyed along Florida Avenue. We have signed an agreement with Chastain Skillman to complete that survey and to do the engineering for the loop tie-in between Florida Avenue, REA Road, and US 17 at the Winn-Dixie corner. And we are in the process of developing an RFP for, it's really not an RFP. We're in the process of developing the parameters for the survey to be done along US 17 South in conjunction with the city of Wauchula. And once that happens, we will utilize a piggyback contract with the county for a surveying firm to do the survey, and then similarly with the engineering on that project.
When are you gonna do Rapid Systems in JDC? When is that?
Next.
Next.
We had,
I know you forgot it or not. I thought maybe you forgot it.
No, we added it. And we can take a short break. Tip, are you ready to make your presentation? Tip Fowler is here and Mark Bicknovic from JDC Phosphates. And at this time, we'll let you begin your presentation.
Thank you. We'll be brief. We'll be very brief.